Man, welcome back. March is Social Work Month. JCCA provides the highest quality child welfare and mental health services to more than 17,000 children and families every year. And here now to share more, we've got the director of Westchester Day Treatment, MST-Fit, Budy J. Garcia-Whitfield. And Budy, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having us and for just spreading this awareness during Social Work Appreciation Month.
Yeah, well, it's a lot that you do and a lot of services you actually also provide too. For those that may not be so familiar with JCCA, talk to us a little bit about the services and how you're able to impact the community.
Absolutely. So JCCA has actually been around for over 200 years. We provide an array of services, not only as it started as a child welfare agency, but we have expanded to become leading experts in behavioral health and wellness. We have preventive programs. We have an unaccompanied minors foster care program, regular foster care. We have a Article 31 clinic, which is providing mental health, outpatient mental health services in the community, in addition to our residential programs. And we have continued to expand, and now we have a day treatment program serving youth who are in a school setting who require mental health services. So the agency has grown exponentially over the years, providing services to our underserved population.
And when we look at the services, obviously a great deal of history has been there. You guys have
Yeah.
done great work. Women, I'll talk about particularly young women. A
Yeah.
lot of issues when it comes to mental health and
Yes.
that crisis. When we're looking at the crisis amongst our young women, what are you seeing?
When I'm seeing the crisis amongst our young women, I'm seeing an uptick in mental health concerns. We are seeing more and more young girls suffering from depression, expressing more and more suicidal ideations, intent, suicidal like behaviors, cutting, involved in more aggression, fighting. Substance use has also increased in a lot of girls, a lot of teenage girls.
And when we look at that, that's quite alarming. So
Yeah.
how do you combat that? Knowing the fact that all this is out there, you as a social worker, how do you combat
Mhm.
that?
It's important that we build a relationship, right? What happens is when you move into adulthood, it's interesting how, as adults, some people don't know how to express and point an emotion as to what's going on. It is important for you to work with an adolescent, especially adolescent females, on emotional regulation, emotional management, to understand where are they experiencing trauma, where they're experiencing an intense need of emotions based on what's going on with life stressors. As we see with schools, sometimes school violence can resort to adolescents not wanting to go to school, lack of resources, lack of housing, lack of support with parenting. There has to be an interconnectedness between the parents and the school system, but also having someone to coach and mentor these adolescents in order to help them live a fruitful life and enter into adulthood with less stigma, with less impact and behavioral issues.
When I look at where we are right now, coming out of COVID, a lot of people had to really deal with the fact that listen, uh, we're home together. But with
Yeah.
that comes abuse sometimes. And we know domestic violence was up. Numbers of domestic violence and domestic violence cases come up. When we talk about young people, the same thing. We see those numbers rising. Give me a little bit from your lay of the land. What do you see in terms of the numbers rising and also the services that are available? Because if we don't deal with that, then a person grows up and they never deal with it, and then at some point they hit a wall.
Yeah. So let's go back. The pandemic hit. There was an increase in adolescent mental health as far as like depressive symptoms. And so research has shown that we haven't paid much attention to it because sometimes we dismiss adolescents' behaviors for hormones. They're going through puberty, they're having all these changes. So our adolescents have now had to keep up with the times. And what are the times is social media. Social media has been so important. If you see an adolescent out there, they are attached to their cell phones like never before. They go to the bathroom, they eat, they're waking up, brushing their teeth, they're going to bed with partners over the phone. They have this intense attachment. But what's happening is that adolescents are taking what's on TikTok, what's on social media as face value. They are thinking that if you see this TikTok person who says, I pull my hair and I'm experiencing eating more, that already you're diagnosing yourself with anxiety. And so that's what we have to kind of be careful in scaling back and understanding that, yes, we have entered a new dimensional world with social media and technology being right at their hand. It's how to we monitor it safely for them. As far as services, it is important in the social work field, especially, that we connect. But there is specialized training that you should have when working with adolescents who specifically have trauma, like through therapeutic, trauma focused cognitive behavioral therapy, through EMDR, which are different therapeutic modalities that you can utilize in order to work with the adolescents. So the importance is connection, the importance is training, the importance is connecting the adolescents back to their community. At the end of the day, when they leave their house, they are connected. So whether that's the community in school, that is their community of origin, that is their culture community, all of these things play a big factor in trying to help support an adolescent lead a successful life, but also to heal from some of their experiences that they're going through.
You talk about having an adolescent heal and become better. How important is it having a social worker involved in their life?
It is super important. And I'm not just being biased because I'm a social worker, right? I've been in the field for 18 years, but all seriously, um, there's always that social worker, if you could think about it, that makes a lasting impression. And I'll just share a quick story. I was on Fordham Road shopping, and I didn't realize this was many, many years ago. It's about maybe 8, 10 years ago. And I had someone stop me, and it was like, Miss Garcia, I still remember you. Thank you for changing my life. Thank you for investing in me. And thank you for making a difference and listening to me. Social workers are important because our career is not a one cookie cutter approach. We are advocates, we are therapists, we are doing the work when it comes to critical race theory and changing the dynamics. We are in there to help support and navigate and break down the same systems that have broken us down. And so a social worker looks at things from an ecological and a global perspective. It's not just paying attention to one, the humanness, but it's also seeing how the community plays a role, how your family plays a role, how physical health, mental, financial, everything plays a role in what's going on with you. And the uniqueness with a social worker is that they're able to come in and come with that ecological lens to try to support you as the individual so that you can grow.
Well, Budy, I want to thank you so much for giving us that inside look. I think it's important, and I think it's really
Yeah.
important that we understand the life of social work. The work that you do is critical, and I think sometimes we diminish it. But as March is Social Work Month, we want to thank you for the work that you're doing, the lives that you're impacting, and the difference that you're making. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All righty. We want to thank her for joining us. And listen, if you want more information, visit the website, jccany.org, and then also follow them on social media at JCCANY. We encourage you to don't go anywhere. We've got more open coming up right after this.